In the heart of the Midi-Pyrénées in France, a unique tradition has been in existence for more than a century. The production of an ecological material, glass, the only 100% recyclable packaging. A plant with a remarkable history, the first pages of which were written more than a century ago by men who cherished the dream of freedom. In 1895, a factory in the Tarn hit the headlines. In Carmaux, the workforce at the glassworks stood up to the owner, Eugène Rességuier, who had sacked 2 union leaders. The strikers were supported by an up-and-coming member of the French Parliament, Jean Jaurès. The whole of France, right up to the National Assembly, held its breath. Seeing that their employer was not going to back down, the glassworkers decided to set up their own plant. It saw the light of day in January 1896 with the help of donations sent from all over France.
Grâce à vous encore l'espérance éclaire notre lendemain.
A few months later, in front of a crowd of more than 8,000 people, Jean Jaurès inaugurated the Workers' Glass Factory in Albi, France's first workers' cooperative. In December, the first bottles were blown. The glass factory opened autonomously with its own equity. It grew fast, but freedom has a price. The employees sometimes had to give up part of their salary when business wasn't so good. Despite that, the know-how and solidarity of the workforce kept the company afloat. After the Second World War, VOA was started up again by Maurice Thorez, Vice President of the Council of Ministers. With a burst of popular enthusiasm reminiscent of the fervour of the company's beginnings, the factory was back on the rails again, loyal to its values. The company's motto is work, capital, talent. Nowadays, as you know, glass is no longer considered as a receptacle, but as a packaging. Glass has a highly promising future. In 1975, the plant was built on its present site. VOA was the 4th largest producer of bottles in France. In 1998, it became a full subsidiary of Saint-Gobain. Modern and efficient, it produces 1 million bottles every day. A daily routine that preserves natural resources for future generations. 10,000 bottle banks are distributed all over the Midi-Pyrénées. Nearly all the region's waste glass is collected. Every year, tens of thousands of tons of bottles and jars are collected and transported to the Albi sorting centre, where they're crushed, sorted, separated from their impurities and then transformed into a new material, cullet. VOA was the glassworks chosen to develop it. Since 1980, it's been recycling the glass collected throughout the region. Cullet is the main raw material. It's mixed with other constituents of glass, mainly sand, calcium and sodium carbonate. So glass is a 100% ecological material, a mixture of recycled glass and abundant natural raw materials. This mixture is melted in huge furnaces which operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at a temperature of around 1500 degrees Celsius. The melting cycle is regulated from A to Z by the control room, the nerve center of the plant. From putting in the raw materials to taking out the molten glass takes about 24 hours. At the furnace outlet, a feeder conditions the glass to the required temperature and conveys it to the machines. At the end of the feeder, a strand of molten glass is severed into drops called gobs. With perfect synchronization, a network of guide rails distributes these glass gobs to the various molds to form the bottles. A first mold in cast iron, the pre-forming mold, gives the bottle a provisional shape, the pre-form. Then the preform is transferred by an arm into the finishing mold, in which the bottle is blown into its final shape. To obtain a perfect bottle with no defects, the machines are continuously maintained and the molds are regularly inspected. The bottle, which is still at a temperature of over 500 degrees Celsius, is then extracted from the finishing mold with tongs and put on a cooling tray before being conveyed. The whole forming cycle only lasts a few seconds. At this stage, the bottles have acquired their final shape. To guarantee their strength, they must be reheated and then gradually cooled in a tunnel furnace known as a reheating furnace. Scratch-resistant surface treatment is applied hot before they go into the reheating furnace and cold as soon as they come out. The bottles are now ready for a series of inspections. To ensure the high quality of products, VOA conducts a chain of inspections throughout the production process. Manual control of sealing as soon as the bottles are formed. Visual inspection to eliminate flaws. Automatic inspections using high-tech instruments, video or light beams. In-depth laboratory tests are also performed for strength, detection of possible defects in the glass, and to check thickness and dimensions. This extensive inspection process guarantees safety of use, both for the bottler and for the consumer. The inspection staff are required to respect strict hygiene rules. All the bottles considered unsatisfactory are automatically rejected and then remelted in the furnace. The others are conveyed to the packing machine. The bottles are conveyed to the automatic packer, which makes up a pallet, adapting the size and packaging of the pallet to the requirements of each of VOA's customers. On average, each pallet contains 1,000 bottles. The automatic conveyor takes the pallets to the wrapping phase. The wrapper is heat shrunk onto the pallet in the refraction oven. The bottles are now protected from humidity and dust. Transferred to the plant's storage area or to regional warehouses, the pallets are now ready to be delivered. Destination: 1,000 customers in France and 20 or so other countries. Agri-food groups, merchants or wine cooperatives. VOA internal services are available to each customer. They can organize deliveries in less than 48 hours, launch very short production runs on a dedicated flex line, or provide exclusive offers like the Selective Line brand of very high-end wine and spirits bottles for export. For all these customers, VOA's Integrated Product Engineering Department constantly designs and develops new products. At the cutting edge of innovation, VOA has made continuous improvement a company value. It's the first glass company in Europe to win quadruple certification in the fields of quality, food safety, workplace health and safety, and the environment. VOA is committed to reducing its own ecological footprint by limiting its water consumption and processing sulfur oxides and dust. VOA has reduced its carbon emissions by 20%. For more than a century, the VOA Glass Works in Albi has remained faithful to the ambitions of its founders, continuously adapting to the demands of the times.